when you travel around this great country, you see lots of folks who are making fundamental mistakes because sometimes your home may be as toxic as the bodies that are living in it. You gotta deal with both at the same time, especially if you're having some of the problems we've been talking about today. So luckily, Dr. Myron Wentz and Dr. Dave Wentz are here to join us on our journey to health. Dr. Myron Wentz is a world expert on the cell, the building block of the human body, which makes a ton of sense because he spent his whole life studying it, makes you pretty good at things. By researching how to keep the basic building blocks of the body healthy, Dr. Wentz discovered not only the cell's nutritional needs, but the cell's optimal nutrition, there they are, needs as well. Now this breakthrough led this visionary scientist to found USANA Health Sciences. This is a nutritional company that's based on the science of optimal nutrition. They've helped us out a ton. By helping educate a lot of folks about what mistakes they may be making in their lives. Now, in 2007, Dr. Wentz was honored for his work with the Albert Einstein Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Life Sciences. When Dr. Wentz started USANA Health Sciences, he needed some help. So when a dad needs help, what does he do? Usually he calls his wife, but in this case, he was lucky to have a son, Dave Wentz, who knew a lot about this area. He got involved. Together, the two entrepreneurs have built a $500 million a year global nutrition company. As a CEO, Dave Wentz has made sure USANA continues to fulfill his and his father's vision of optimal nutrition with the state-of-the-art manufacturing facilities, in-house scientists conducting the latest research, and thorough pioneering of the latest improvements in personalized nutrition, which is, I think, the forefront of any supplementation. Dave's tireless efforts to build a solid company and spread the USANA message of optimal health around the world led Forbes.com to name him one of America's most powerful CEOs, 40 and under. Now, they did that, in fairness, in 2009, back when Dave was under 40. He still looks pretty good. You'll see him in a few minutes. Last year, Dave and Dr. Wentz released the best-selling book, The Healthy Home, which showcases a different, but arguably just as important component of a healthy life, a healthy home environment. Dave and Dr. Wentz uncovered hidden toxic dangers lurking right in our own homes. These are profoundly important insights, and what they found will shock you. For example, take a look at this. Here to share with us how we can change our toxic habits and create healthy, happy, and safe environments for our families. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dave Wentz and Dr. Myron Wentz.
Thank you, Dr. Oz. Off the top, I want to admit that I've spent most of my career in the research laboratory, so I'm much more comfortable behind a microscope than a microphone. But what a fantastic...
Make you more comfortable. Here you go.
Thank you, Never. What a fantastic summit this has been. As I read the theme words, health and happiness, it's obvious to me, and I'm sure to you as well, that all of our presenters have made the world a better place by pursuing the combination of these two goals. I share that goal as well. Well, let me back up a little. In my career in biomedical science, I've spent many years learning what amounts to two basic truths. First, that the cell is the basis of all life. The human body is made up of cells and only cells and their products, our eyes, brain, muscles, our skeleton. For example, take a look at your hand. Look at your hand. It is completely covered with skin cells, and there are tens of thousands of them in every square inch. And along with all those skin cells in every square inch are an average of 650 sweat glands, 20 blood vessels, and more than 1,000 nerve endings. They're all cells, and they're all amazing. Second, I've learned that the most important things you can do to maintain healthy cells is number one, to provide them with the substances they need to thrive, nutrients. And number two, to help them avoid the substances that cause damage, toxics. From decades of working with cells in the lab, feeding them, encouraging them to grow, even infecting them with viruses so that we could use the cells to detect infectious diseases, I gained an intimate understanding of the inner workings of our cells. So much so that I wrote a book about my discoveries, Invisible Miracles. It became clear to me that the healthy cells are the basis for a healthy body. That means, of course, that unhealthy cells are going to inevitably result in an unhealthy body. Over years of culturing cells in the laboratory, establishing non-toxic environments, and developing optimal nutrition for them, I learned that there were only a limited number of things that the cells need to perform optimally. When you look at the periodic table of the elements, which includes all the elements that we know exist in our universe, the elements that were used to create our cells are these, and only these, which I call the life essentials. These are the elements that have been selected to create our cells and are essential to life. All the other elements that you see on that periodic table do not belong in the body. They only displace, interfere, inhibit, or poison natural metabolic pathways. Of the non-life elements that do not belong in the body, we know that the heavy metals are particularly toxic, like cadmium, tin, antimony, lead, and mercury tops that list. It's regarded by most scientists as the most toxic element on Earth. Its main target is the central nervous system, where it disrupts the structural and biochemical machinery of both neurons and their support cells, the astrocytes. But mercury isn't only a neurotoxin. It can poison every cell in the body. Lighter toxic metals like aluminum, arsenic, and nickel, or the toxic halogens such as fluoride and bromide, which displace precious iodine from our thyroid gland and other organs, are especially harmful. It's important to note that an alarming number of popular pharmaceuticals, ones that you may be taking, contain fluoride. Even much of our food that we eat today lacks many of the essential elements and introduces toxics into our bodies. Introduction of these non-life elements into our cells can have catastrophic effects. To help you see what I've been discussing, let's look at living cells reacting to substances found in food. The first clip is what a blood specimen looks like after a test subject has eaten a healthy lunch. Nice, rounded, mobile cells going about their business, the business of delivering oxygen to the furthest extremities of the body. The second clip is what happens in the blood when the body is exposed to toxic substances, in this case, the high levels of oxidized and trans fats, preservatives, additives, chemicals, and dyes found in fast food lunch. Here we see we've created blood sludge, clumped red blood cells, barely able to move through capillaries. You don't need to be a scientist to see they are too sick to be performing their normal functions. We all know prevention is the best cure, but in addition to eating the right foods, we need to supplement our diet, not only to ensure our cells are getting all the essential elements, but also to provide our cells with a greatly increased need to protect them from oxidative damage caused by our horrendously increased exposure to toxic free radicals today. Every free radical takes at least one antioxidant molecule to quench it. Since there are thousands and thousands of free radicals bombarding our cells constantly, large doses of antioxidants are necessary to prevent oxidative damage to those cells. The quantities needed are not provided in our diet today. We must supplement our nutritional intake to get the adequate amounts necessary to prevent and reverse the adverse effects of exposure to toxics. In addition to protecting ourselves with antioxidants, we need to avoid exposure to toxics as much as possible. We need, as we heard earlier, to practice avoidance. Though many areas of exposure are beyond our control, there are some that are easily avoided and are quite literally close to home. My son Dave is well versed in this topic and, even more importantly, quite passionate about it. We both are, and we even wrote a book about it. So would you like to see some of what we discovered? Yeah. Dave, let's show them some of what we found.
Thank you. Before I get started, I wanted to take a moment, though, to recognize and thank all of you. Thank you for investing of your precious time to come out, to learn, and to be leaders of change, to make a positive difference. So please, everyone, give yourselves a big hand. Thank you. You are the ones that will lead us into a healthy future, because we live in a polluted world. We are being exposed to more and more of those elements that don't belong in our bodies. And if you're like me, you feel powerless. How can we change the big environment? How can we make a cleaner world? But when you think about it, our world, our environment, isn't the greater environment of our planet. Our main or primary environment is our homes. That's where we spend a majority of our lives. And we have to realize we can control that environment. We can make a difference. We can decide if that's a healthy environment for our family or a toxic environment. Now, we certainly don't know all of the dangers out there, but we know a lot more than we knew 50 years ago.
What cigarette do you smoke, Doctor?
Tens of thousands of doctors in all branches of medicine, in all parts of the country, were asked that question.
What cigarette do you smoke, Doctor?
The brand named most was Camel. Yes, surveys show more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette.
Smoke Camels, the cigarette so many doctors enjoy.
People ask me if that's real. We can look back at that and laugh now, but doesn't it make you wonder, what are the things that you are doing today that 10 years from now you would look back and laugh? Unfortunately, most of us are not aware of the many dangers that have crept into our homes. And so what we want to do today is take a tour of the home and find some of the surprising hidden dangers that you were unaware of, and more importantly, the simple solutions that you can employ so that you can make a healthy home for yourself now, so we can laugh now rather than later when it's too late. All right, first let's head to the bathroom.
Dave, are you going to leave your stool?
Excuse me? Oh, you mean my chair. I thought you've been watching too many Dr. Oz shows.
Yeah.
In the bathroom, we probably hold one of those hidden dangers in our hand every day. How many of you have taken a second to read the back of your toothpaste label? There's a warning on there that says that if you accidentally swallow your toothpaste, you should call the Poison Control Center. How ironic. Something that we put in our mouth each and every day is toxic if swallowed. Why? Well, one of those elements, we talked about fluoride. Fluoride is in there. Fluoride displaces the calcium and magnesium in our bones, which does make our teeth and our bones hard, but it also makes them brittle. And brittle bones lead to broken bones, and we all know that a broken hip later in life can be deadly. Fluoride can also pit the enamel of your teeth. We've been tricked and marketed into believing that we need fluoride to prevent cavities. We don't. The healthy way is to floss, to use a tongue scraper, and to brush with a fluoride-free toothpaste, and very importantly, get lots of calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D so that you can build strong and healthy teeth and bones. Now, the next hidden danger is a little more hidden. I want you all to turn, look to a partner, open your mouth wide, and let them count how many silver fillings that you have in your mouth. Now, those silver fillings, each one of them contains the toxic heavy metal mercury that we talked about, one of the most toxic elements there is in your mouth. Many of you have heard of the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland, or the term mad as a hatter. Where did that term come from? Well, it came from the fact that the people who worked in these hat factories were exposed to mercury during the process. And after working there a while, they would go crazy. Why? Because the mercury has an affinity for the brain cells and it causes Alzheimer's, dementia, other neurological disorders. And so being exposed to mercury over and over, they would go crazy. Now that silver filling in your tooth or in your teeth, if you have many of them, the American Dental Association has said that that mercury is stable. It's not released. We're going to do a little experiment to find out if that's true. We've created some teeth with some mercury fillings, some silver fillings, and we're going to brush our teeth and we're going to take a sample. This is a Jerome meter. It measures the mercury vapor that's released.
Mercury vapor specifically, nothing else.
None should show up if 0 is released. 84 micrograms released. It's been a lie. Mercury vapor is being released each and every time you brush your teeth. So, what do? The best thing you can do is get a biological dentist to remove those silver fillings. Do it safely. It's a very toxic substance, so they have to be very careful when they remove those silver fillings. If you can't get them removed for some reason, at least don't chew gum and ice. Watch out for the hot liquids, the hot tea, coffee, and soups. And don't brush with a dry brush. In other words, don't cause unnecessary heat and friction, because all you're doing is releasing more mercury into your mouth, which goes straight into your brain. All right, next, let's head on to the bedroom. Now, we spend about a third of our lives in the bedroom, 8 hours approximately, with sleep, getting ready, watching TV, and of course, extracurricular activities. And so we need to make sure that our bathroom is a very healthy place. Bedroom, sorry. Make sure both. But make sure your bedroom is a healthy place because you spend a lot of your life there. Now, our first danger, you have to realize that we are electric beings. We are electrical beings. All you have to do is watch your TV hospital shows and hear someone yell, "Clear!" as they shock someone back into life. We are electrical beings, and we're being exposed to electropollution or unnatural EMFs, electromagnetic frequencies. And those EMFs, those unnatural frequencies, cause damage to our cells, especially our cell membranes, disrupt communication. And so we need to be aware of where those things are in our lives. We need to be aware of the high voltage power lines that may be far away from us, but we also have to be aware of the lesser fields, like an electric blanket, much lesser field, but right against the cells of your body. We're not really sure what all of these electromagnetic fields do. We know they disrupt, but we don't know the long-term effects. We don't know for sure just how bad it's going to be, but you can't wait for science to find out. Use the precautionary principle. Take precautions now so that you can be prepared, so that if the science does come out, you use that little bit of caution and safety ahead of time before finding out when it's too late. So let's take a look at some of the gadgets on our nightstand next to our bed.
This is a Gauss meter that can measure electromagnetic fields. As we approach, can you see that? Look at the scale. But also notice that it goes down as we move away. Here's a light. Even with it switched off, it's generating a field which transmits through walls, so you need to be careful what's on the other side of your bedroom. But here's another clock. No reading. It's battery operated.
So some of the simple solutions, a battery-operated clock, moving those gadgets further away on the nightstand so they're not right next to your brain all night long. Unplug the items you're not using. Realize that that lamp, even though it's turned off, is still putting out electromagnetic fields. And whatever you do, no electric blankets. Don't put those EMFs right against your skin. All right, another danger is in the bedroom closet. It's dry cleaning.
Sometimes regular washing just isn't enough. Are you ready for your big meeting today, George?
I am now. Knowing that my shirt is extra clean makes me a more confident man.
And it's certainly more convenient for me. Why, they even have home delivery.
And chances are the chemical used in dry cleaning hasn't been banned in your area yet. Well, Betty, I'd better be on my way.
You know, George, traces of that chemical will be on your breath for up to 48 hours. Why, I bet everyone at the office will know that that shirt is not just clean.
It's dry cleaned clean. It's great being a modern family. Try dry cleaning.
Can't you see it's great to be a modern family?
Let's be careful what we look back and laugh at, right? PERC is a known toxin. It's been banned in California, so our government's looking out for us a little bit. It's been banned in the year 2023, so they can poison you for 11 more years, but then they have to stop, so that's good. It's kind of like the asbestos of the future. We have to be aware of those things. We have to protect ourselves. We can't depend on the government to protect us. We cannot depend on the manufacturers to protect us. So, some of the simple solutions. Use a green dry cleaner. They're out there. There are healthy alternatives to PERC for dry cleaning. Wear your clothes a few times before adding more PERC if you're getting the regular dry cleaning. And one of the easiest things to do, bring your dry cleaning home, hang it in the garage or out on the patio. Take off that plastic wrap so it's not sealing in all those bad juices. Let it air out before you put it in your bedroom closet where you're breathing that air all night long. So, watch out for the dry cleaning. Next, let's move on to the kitchen. In the kitchen, we have our beloved plastic. Plastic is everywhere. Plastic is taking over the world. It's so convenient, versatile, but when we get to the kitchen, it's dangerous. Why is that? Well, we need to keep it away from our food because the plastic, the chemicals, the plasticides, hormone disruptors leach out of the plastic into our food and drink. These toxic chemicals, for instance, think about your grandma's Tupperware that you've passed down for generations. You know that bowl you've been saving for years and years, all scratched and beat up? The more used and worn out it is, the more chemicals it leaches into our food and drink. And be especially careful of styrofoam, which leaches styrene and ethylbenzene, a known carcinogen, into our food and drink. Unfortunately, the two things that break down styrofoam the most, heat and oily foods. So your coffees, your teas, and your leftovers from the restaurant, your oily pastas. So avoid the styrofoam. Ethylbenzene was even found to go through the shell of the egg into your egg itself. Ethylbenzene coming from that styrofoam container. So whatever you do, make sure you buy your eggs in a cardboard container versus styrofoam. Simple solution that's so easy to add to your life is get away from plastic and get to glass. Glass is the healthy way. And never, ever heat or reheat your food and drinks in plastic or styrofoam. All right, another hidden danger that people are shocked by, non-stick pans. Uh-oh. Right? You love your non-stick pans. You're not going to give them up, I know that. But don't worry, they are completely safe unless you heat them. So don't worry. If you want to decorate the kitchen, hang them from all, that's fine. Just don't let them get hot. How do they make the surface so hard that nothing will stick to it? That element, fluoride, again, is back, that made our teeth hard and brittle, also makes this surface so hard that nothing will stick to it. But unfortunately, at high temperatures, fluorine gas is released. And the manufacturer knows this. If you go to their website, it warns you to not have your pet bird in the kitchen when you're cooking with their pots and pans. Why? Because the fluorine gas will kill your pet bird. And you and your family are breathing it each and every day when you're cooking. Another reason to listen to the canary in the coal mine and avoid using these products. You can use cast iron, you can use stainless steel, you can use ceramic. And if you do use a nonstick, make sure you're not using old beat-up scratch pans that can release more fluorine gas, and never preheat them so that you get them really hot and they release that fluorine gas. Simple precautions that you can take. Okay, here's a surprising one, but an easy one. Most people have no idea that the air inside is 3 to 4 times more polluted than the air outside. We hear, don't go outside, it's a bad air day. Stay inside. Well, where do you think this air came from? This air came from outside. We bring it in, but then we pollute it. We put our cleansers, our toxic cleansers, the off-gassing of fabrics and paints, our fragrances, the air fresheners. Those aren't really roses in a can, people. Trust me. Those are chemicals synthesized in the laboratory to trick your nose into believing that those are roses in a can. Your lungs want air. So stop wasting your money on those products, those chemicals. Don't bring them into your home. And the easiest and one of the best simple solutions is open a window. Let the fresh air in.
A solution to pollution is dilution.
Beautiful. Just
Open
poetic.
the window.
A scientist and a poet. All right. And we want to conclude with one of the most toxic elements again, mercury. Where is it hidden this time that you're not aware of? Well, unfortunately, we find a lot of mercury in our CFL light bulbs. Yes, those things have been pushed on us. The things that are so critical for the future are full of toxic mercury. Now, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, they say that if this room or the building ever exceeds 100 micrograms per cubic meter, you have to evacuate that room. All right? So what was we had 84 from our teeth. We were almost near evacuating our mouth from our brushing our teeth experiment. Remember that? Well, now we're going to break this light bulb and find out what the reading is. You ready? All right. Make sure that plastic isn't blocking it. We want to contain this so we don't make a big mess, and we have to have this hood to make sure the mercury doesn't get out into the room. 447 over four times or 4.5 times the legal limit where we would have to evacuate this room. Once again, the manufacturers know this. And they put a long list of instructions on their website or in the fine print. How many people know what the instructions are if you break a light bulb? I see maybe a hand or two. Critical life-saving instructions. Who knows what they are? All right, here they are. If you accidentally break a light bulb, you're supposed to evacuate the room. Then you're supposed to turn off the heating, air conditioning, and open the windows, which is really hard to do after you've evacuated the room. So what you have to do is you pick the person you like least, send them back in, have them open the windows, turn off the heating and air conditioning. Then you can't use a vacuum to clean this up. You'll blow the mercury around. You have to sweep it into a closed container, seal it, put it in a garbage can. How many of you knew that? Those are the instructions that the manufacturer knows we should be following. That's what you should do every time you break a light bulb. But let's say you get lucky. It doesn't break in your home. Is it going to break in the garbage can? Is it going to break in the garbage truck? Is it going to break in the landfill? And is that mercury going to go into our groundwater, into our air, and find its way back into our homes? Yes. So, whatever you do, don't buy CFLs. If you have them, put them in a safe place where they won't be broken. But when they burn out, replace them with incandescent halogen, LED. Don't be fooled by these. All right. That's our tour of the house for today. If you want to learn more, you can, of course, read the book or visit the website. But thank you. And I need you to understand this. This information is not meant to scare you. All of the dangers that we talk about have simple solutions. Sometimes multiple solutions to choose from, so you can pick the one that's best for you. A 10% or a 20% improvement or reduction of toxins in your home adds up day after day, week after week, year after year to lower that toxic burden that you're exposed to, that your body has to fight. So make those small changes. Don't go cold turkey on everything. People won't do that. But make a 10 or 20% change in many different areas and create a healthier home for your family. Don't be overwhelmed. Just follow these 3 simple steps. First, use your senses to become more aware of what's around you. Number 2, use your common sense to make better decisions. And most importantly, 3, take action. Do something differently. You gotta take action with that information. In closing, we would like to share a little bit of advice with you, copying the format used by columnist Mary Schmidt in her to-do list for graduates called Wear Sunscreen. Now, due to the parabens we find in sunscreen, ours is called Wear Gloves.
Ladies and gentlemen of the 21st century,
Wear gloves.
if we could give you just one bit of advice, it would be to wear gloves.
Whether you're scrubbing the floors, poisoning your yard, or changing the oil in your car, just remember, if you wouldn't drink it, don't touch it.
Enjoy the taste of color.
Never mind that color doesn't taste.
Enjoy the beauty of colorful foods that nourish your cells.
Drink bottled water when you travel, but protect your plastic container.
Drink purified water when you're home, but change your filters often.
Drink lots of water.
Travel.
Don't mess too much with your skin, or by the time you're 40, it will look 80.
Enjoy the power and beauty of your skin cells.
Ignore the tantalizing marketing of cosmetic companies trying to cover, color, and contaminate your natural appearance.
You probably won't understand the power and beauty of your skin until it's wrinkled and faded.
You are beautiful just the way you are. But lose the weight.
Trust us, in 20 years you'll look back at photos and recall how much more life you had when there was much less of you.
Open a window.
Breathe.
Don't worry about your family's health, or worry, but know that it's your choices that most often decide the outcome.
Worrying only adds stress, which reduces your odds if you're rolling the dice and living by chance.
Don't gamble.
The Gauss meter reveals, the mold dog barks, and your nose knows.
Share your world. Bugs may be pests, but they don't pester like your spouse and your kids, and you keep them around.
Don't be reckless with pesticides.
Don't live near people who are reckless with theirs.
Fluoride kills. Floss instead.
Lose the silver fillings.
Keep your beautiful memories.
Don't feel guilty for damage already done. Do one extra thing every day that brings health to your home and family.
Open another window.
Breathe.
Don't waste your money on dryer sheets.
Sometimes your socks will stick to your pajamas. It's okay.
Your nose knows. Smell nothing and smell it often.
Log off.
Get plenty of rest. These days, it's the only time you're not too busy to dream.
Maybe you have children, maybe you don't.
Take off your shoes anyway.
You never know who will use the 10-second rule to eat something that fell on the floor.
Trust your instincts. Don't forget that other sense that is incredibly powerful, common sense.
Open all the windows.
Breathe.
Don't worry about the future. Change it.
Today, we offer you solutions.
Some proven, some theory, but all with good intentions.
If we miss the mark on some and they are not life-saving, trust that they will not harm you.
Build your immune system, not Big Pharma's pockets.
Only one has your best interests at heart.
Simplify.
Don't poison your house to kill a fly. Bug strips will show you who's not paying rent.
Get to know the way of life your parents had when they were kids. Your parents' past holds the key to your children's healthy future.
Research.
Accept certain inalienable but simple truths. Your home and car are polluted.
You can change that.
Respect warning labels.
Better yet, don't use products that require them.
Are all the windows open?
Breathe.
Science cannot move quickly enough to ensure product safety.
Look out for yourself and your family.
You are responsible. When you point and blame, 3 fingers point back at you.
Learn.
Be careful whose advice you buy. Be the type of person who has learned to question.
I hope you'll question our suggestions and do some research.
Find answers for yourself. When you can't find answers, stop, think, and do what your gut tells you.
Do it for our children's future, but trust us on the gloves.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Thank you.